I'd like to talk about shooting board technique, how you use your body to control the cuts when you're trying to shave these fine dimensions off the end of a piece of wood. There are actually some significant forces at play, and I think it would be beneficial to take a look at them, because I've done many shows and observed hundreds, if not thousands, of people shooting, and there are a few points in their technique that I think would be good to. From them I've learned how to improve going about shooting. And there are two things here. I'm using the Lie-Nielsen miter plane in this case. It could be a bench plane. It's a situation where you wouldn't use a captured fence or this parallel guide stroke, but your hand has to do the job of controlling the plane, otherwise it's going to push away. So we have two hands in shooting. We have your right arm, right hand, left arm, left hand. What's the right hand doing? The right hand has to make sure that it's pressing the plane tight against the bearing strip throughout the cut. If you let up on that pressure, it can wander away from it. So you need to have your hands pressing low. In this case it's easy because there's this open cavity. Pressing low against the back of the blade and the lever cap. And you can see this is how I'm thinking about it. If I hold the plane up high, this, where you see some people, well, it's not really giving you enough hand pressure to be able to direct 90 degrees in relation to the bearing strip. So I have that going on with my hand. It's very important, because if I hold it up just here, I'm not going to be able to do that. It would require too much wrist technique. Now the other thing is about the Vogt shooting board is it's ramped, and that gives you an important advantage, because you have to, with your left hand, immobilize this piece, because when the plane blade hits it, it wants to lever it away. You can't let that happen or you won't get a straight cut. So you need to, first of all, immobilize it. I bring the piece over to the front and then I just lean. I've got the weight of my torso working with me. I have my left leg forward, and now I'm in a good position to push straight through. I have the weight of my torso going forward. I can push with my legs. I got my hips. I got my gluteus maximus. All this stuff is working as a unit, and it's a very powerful stroke. You won't see me going like this, hardly ever shooting, because I'll lose a lot of control in the technique. What's going on here is I have my hands kind of like a pincer working against each other. One thing that I notice that people don't do is they don't maintain the feeding pressure. So you've trapped that workpiece, but you also have to be pushing it against the front of the plane all the way through the cut. You could start it, and if you release it, then the plane is simply going to push it back and you're not going to get a straight cut. So to maintain the straight cut all the way through, you're pressing it down and you're pushing it against the front of the plane. And as you're pressing with the plane towards that workpiece and forward, the two arms are working in tandem. There's tension this way. So you have to pay attention to that dual purpose of your arms when you're shooting, and keep your body in a position so you can engage all these muscles rather than just press down with your arm like this and press forward with your hand. It should be a real body motion. And you'll get good controlled technique this way. You're asking a lot of the plane to maintain a nice straight cut, and you have to be involved in that process.